What's going on, Paisanos? V here, coming at you, well, on a market watch today. Listen, the Megatin pre-release prices are already hit on TCG Player. Now, right before I begin with, before I forgot, I have an announcement to make. If you go to my website, YGOPaisano.com, and you go and see a couple of things are on here. Number one, there's some things that are out of stock. Now, I put an order in about roughly 2 weeks. They will be in stock. It's a very short order. I think it's only about 200 pieces in this order. So if you do want to get some of these, I will have a pre-sale available coming up probably around next week, maybe a week and a half. The pre-sale will be available in case you want to get some of these early before anyone else has an opportunity to get. I mostly make these mentions on my Discord, links down below. And I'll probably eventually make an announcement here on this YouTube channel as well. So if you do want to have opportunity to get some of these, you can go ahead and get it. If you want to go ahead and grab some of what I have available right now, hey, YGOPaisano.com, check it out. Any order over $25 is free shipping. Every order ships tracked. You will get tracking number once these ship out. Any orders done before 4:30 usually get sent out the same exact day. Your tracking will be updated. Anything afterwards, your tracking will be updated on the next day minus Sundays. So definitely check it out. Once again, I know a lot of people are asking me when's the next order coming in, when's the next batch coming in. A lot of new stuff's going to be on this website. It's actually on this website by the time you're watching this video. It's going to be made available once again relatively soon. So definitely check it out. Once again, YGOPaisano.com. All right. Let's start talking about the Megatins. Now, the craziest thing about the Megatins is the fact that even the pre-sale prices, as you see them right now, are insanely low. Normally, pre-sale prices are insanely high, and then they go lower. But with the Megatins, it's not like that. You see, the prices on a lot of these cards are really, 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 really low. And the reason why is because those buying Megatins know 100,000% that everyone's buying the Megatins sealed. So everyone's going to be dumping their singles on this market. And amongst those who have the opportunity on TCG Player to list cards at pre-sale, they're fighting amongst each other right now for your business. Once the Megatins come out, the prices, obviously, of almost every card in the Megatins is going to tank. Until that happens, though, you'll see the pre-sale prices go down as every day goes by. So do you go ahead and buy some of these cards? Well, I wouldn't buy anything with double digits. That's my take. If it's single digits, it's up to you if you want to buy it or not. I still recommend you don't, but you're going to do what you're going to do. But anything double digits makes no sense. Now, cards like Alibur, Jester, and Despia, I mean, I think Despias is really good. Actually, I'm going to have a video talking about Despias probably in the future, but Despias are still really good right now, and I think everyone kind of forgot about that. But once again, I'll make a video about that in the future. But looking at Alibur, Jester, and Despia being roughly around $4, this used to be one of the big money cards for Branded. If you bought Branded, the structure deck, you still need an Alibur. And yeah, it did come as an ultra rare, but that ultra rare used to be like $15-20. Prismatic Secret Rare Alibur, Jester, and Despia is roughly around $4. It'll probably be a lot lower, but $4 right now. Other cards like Lord of Heavenly Prison is going to be in here. Branded Opening, another money card. That card's $4 for Branded Opening. So relatively inexpensive for Despias, and they're a really good inexpensive deck right now. Other cards such as Dark World No More is roughly around $3. One of the reasons why I didn't do a market watch a majority of this week was because of the bans. We thought we was going to get the ban list out, but to be honest with you, the ban list is going to be coming out, well, probably after the Megatins come out. The Megatins are expected to come out, next week on a Friday, you'll be able to get the Megatins. So that's more than likely, you'll have Friday, you'll have the weekend, and then the following week, more than likely, if I had to guess, would probably be the release of the ban list. I thought it would come out this week, but obviously Konami wants you to buy the Megatins, and the reason why I think that's happening, and historically speaking, is because normally a ban list after the Megatins means something in the Megatins might be getting hit on that ban list. It makes no sense to release the bans today if they release the Megatins, and then what happens? Oh, by the way, Dark World No More gets banned. Whoopsie. Do you still want it? Do you still want to buy it? No? I don't blame you. But if Konami releases the Megatins, then subsequently afterwards, they'll go, okay, listen, not for nothing, we're going to have to hit some cards on the Megatins. They've done this in the past whenever they release the ban list on the Megatins, so I wouldn't be surprised if we should see something on the ban list that would attribute towards, towards the Megatins, whether it's directly or indirectly, by the way. So I think that's really a really important note to put on there. I do like to see Ready Fusion being roughly around $3. I don't own that card, and I really, really want that card. So to see Prismatic Secret be $3 is kind of cool. Other cards like Tropic Kit that desperately needed a reprint is getting a Prismatic Secret Rare upgrade in the Megatins. That's absolutely huge. And once again, look at that. Dark Rule No More and Dimension Shifter. Keep an eye on those 2 cards. Not to buy, just keep an eye on those 2 cards. We have other cards, obviously, like Masquerade, the Blazing Dragon. Once again, another card that desperately needed a reprint. This is a reprinted downgrade, but the Ultra Rare used to be like $15, $30, so it's cool to see Masquerade be $2. I do like to see that a lot. Other cards that are getting upgrades, Flunneries and the Magnificent Map, getting a huge boost. It's roughly around $1, and anyone playing Flunneries is going to want to go ahead and grab that card. Now, we do got some specific cards I want to talk about. Obviously, Pot of Prosperity is the #1 card in the Megatins. Everyone needs 3, and if I had to guess, these will sell out fast. How fast? Well, it depends how the sealed players versus the single players fight in this market. What I mean by that is how many is buying sealed versus how many are waiting to buy the singles. Myself personally, I'm always waiting. I'm probably gonna be getting Pot of Prosperity, the Prismatic Secret Rares. I need to get 2 because I already own 1, so that's what I'm going to be doing. But comment down below. Are you buying sealed Megatins in hopes of pulling Prosperity? Or are you going to be buying the singles after everyone's been done with the sealed? Seal's more fun. Singles are more fun if you want to save money. That's the vice versa. Look at that original print Pot of Prosperity, the rarity downgrade, actually, original print out of Blazing Vortex. The value is roughly around $55. This card last week was roughly around $70. I would argue at the beginning of the week, roughly around $65 to $70, and now it's at $55 a copy for this card. The price of Secret Original Print Prosperities is going to be dropping around the $20 price range. That's where this price is going. So if you do own Prosperity, just know, had you sold it, even now, the price point will drop down towards $20, as the Prismatic Secret price point is still dropping, by the way. It's not stabilizing at this price point. The original release was $43 for the Prismatic Cigarette Prosperities, and now they're at $32 on those who have the opportunity to pre-sell these. So it's a really important distinction to note. Those who can pre-sell, and there's a lot of them, obviously, but those who can pre-sell, obviously, are going to be doing it, and it's a lot of people fighting right now, and that's why the prices are going down so much. Bottom of the page is 40, top of the page is 32 bucks roughly. And the reason why this is happening is because even though there's so many people pre-selling, and it's hard to pre-sell, you have to do a lot to pre-sell on TCG Player. They don't just give that to you if you own a store. No. That's only step like 1 for some people. Other steps, like this guy right here, Ultimate Cards, Gold Star, but you have to have a ton of sales in order to be able to pre-sell within a certain duration. Once again, like I said, having Project Prosperity be at such a low price point on its debut is going to make people want to buy in this card. They're going to want to go in and grab this card, but that price point of them buying, which obviously rises the price, is going to get pushed back down by those on the debut release of those cracking sealed product and throwing in the market. Not to mention those that don't have the pre-sale opportunity, but still bought a ton of sealed Megatins, they're going to be pushing down. So only people that are really going to be pushing up to fight that price point, to kind of keep the price point afloat on its debut, would be those who pre-sell, and they're losing that fight. This is something I really want to harp on, because I really want people to understand that the pre-sale price of Prosperity is going to tank on its debut. Doesn't mean the card's bad. Doesn't mean no one likes the card. Doesn't mean everyone hates the card. It means everyone's opening it, and if they already have Prosperities, they want to sell the most expensive card out of the set, which 100%, by the way, is Pot of Prosperity. It's a very important thing for everyone to understand, because I feel like a lot of players get confused around this time during the Megatins, but you really shouldn't. You just gotta know who's fighting who on the price point. Alright, then we have Forbidden Droplet. Now, this card in the Megatins is $20. Ultra Rares is $28. Sell those, in my opinion. Secret Rares, they're $35, $30 to $35. Yeah, Prismatic Secret is the highest besides the Ultimate Rare, which has already went down in value, mind you. Ultimate Rare version of this card used to be around $300. You see it right here, $300. The price point right now of Ultimate Rare is roughly around $251. That is a massive tank in value. And we want to talk about Prosperity. It hasn't went down for the Starlight Rares, but Starlight Rares and Ultimate Rares are in 2 different categories. I don't know what's not coming up right now. Starlight Rares and Ultimate Rares are in 2 different categories. And Starlight Prosperity, which used to be $500, is not $500 anymore. It's actually stabilized, not even at $590, roughly around $690. I would argue even $700, and it's barely there. Now, would people want to buy into Starlight Prosperity? No. not many players are going to buy in Starlight Product Prosperities. In fact, I would argue that a Starlight Prosperity price point, as of now, has hit a current peak. This line will either straighten out, or it will even go down as players want to use that money from selling a Starlight Prosperity to buy anything in the Megatins. Now, with that said, I think Starlight Prosperities is still a great buy, but it's not a great buy in the short term. It's a great buy in the long term, and I think that's going to be shown to us as time goes on. Even though I do think this card's a contender to be on the ban list, I think one can argue that it's probably going to be on the ban. That's my opinion. All right, then we have Lightning Storm. Now, it's not even showing the Starlight Rare. What's going on? Lightning Storm is a really weird card because if you look at Starlight Lightning Storm, it's actually increased. But here's why. And you can see in the past 3 months, it increased. It used to be a lot cheaper. The values are starting to hit almost near 400. Right now, it's roughly around 360. I've been talking about Lightning Storm going back up in value for a while. The reason why Lightning Storm went down originally in value because it had a reprint, not only in King's Core as a CR, but in King's Core as an Ultra Rare, which made the price point go down heavily. And now looking at Lightning Storm, Starlight Rare, it's actually starting to go back up. And why? Even though it's getting a reprint in the Megatins as a Prismatic Secret Rare, why is it going back up? Because a Starlight Rare is so affordable. Players are saying, hey, listen, it makes sense to go in and buy Starlight Rares, Lightning Storms. They'll hold value. Whereas a Secret Rare initial store, it's just not holding value. Market price 62, the price point 35. The Ultra Rare out of King's Core 31, the real price is 18. So Lightning Storm isn't holding value other than Starlight Rare. I would even argue, and I hate to say, CR is actually holding value. I'm not a big fan of CR Lightning Storm. I think it was a horrible pick. Ash Blossom could have been a better CR. But Lightning Storm CRs, they went from 167. But in the past month, well, besides the 160 price, they've been kind of stable around $100. I remember them being roughly around $100. Looking at it right now, it's roughly around 125 right here, roughly. And I want to say CR Lightning Storms are just stabilizing, and they're going to stabilize for a while for the CRs, but it's still good value for CR. I thought it would go lower. I thought it would 80, but it's doing pretty good compared to the Starlight Rare, though, which is doing amazingly. And I think this is a good indicator of what we're going to see happen with Prosperities. I think this is the future of Prosperities. I could be wrong. Only time will tell, gentlemen. All right, looking at Asphalt from Joyous Spring, every version is insane except the Prismatic Secret Rare. In fact, the only version that might hold value still would be the Maximum Crisis original print. So, Maximum Crisis original print will have 2 lines, and we'll go back in the past month, guess when the Megatins were announced. And the Secret Rare's first edition is still holding good value. The Unlimited is slowly starting to go down in value. I would argue the Unlimited is going to go down pretty aggressively, and the Secret Rare might go down a little bit, but still stabilize. But Prismatic Secret Rare, Ash Blossom Joyous Spring is going to overshadow any other rarity, minus the original print rarity. The original print is still going to hold good value because it's hardest to find, but Prismatic is still going to be the best value. Me personally, I don't know what to do. I'll be honest with you. I might just get my Prismatic Secret Rares and sell my original print first edition Asphalt from Joyous Spring. That's what I'm debating on doing. Comment down below and let me know what you're doing and which version of Ash Blossom you have. Now, Cross the Designator obviously is a phenomenal card. It got a reprint, and you gotta ask yourself, why did it get a reprint? The last time this card was reprinted in the 2022 Ten of Pharaoh Gods Prismatic Secret Rare, last time that had a reprint was in the 2021 Ten of Ancient Battles. Why is that getting a reprint? You have to ask why. Konami's never been a big fan of giving us cards that are needed in a reprint unless 2 things. Number 1, they'll give us a reprint if they're going to hit it on the ban list. Or number 2, they're going to give us something that we're going to need. Now, obviously, Konami could have easily reprinted Cross the Designator in any set. And I think after a year, it's kind of, after even 9 months, the talks of one reprint start hitting the shelves. So why is this happening? What's going on here? The answer is very simple, Paisanos. What we're seeing here is Konami giving us a card, so a year-old card won't spike in crazy high value, and telling us 2 things. Once again, this will get hit in the ban list, or, in my opinion, I think Cross the Designator is going to be coming out because we need it to use against another hand trap. Might, be Ashi? It just sounds weird. Alright, then we have Diviner the Herald. Now, I don't think this card will get hit in the balance. This card's going to be really needed. A Prismatic Secret Rare obviously is a better version than the Lightning Overdrive Secret Rare. Though I will argue Lightning Overdrive will maintain some decent value, I think Prismatic Secret Rare is going to overshadow it. I'm about to list my Secret Rare Diviner Herald. I sold my 2. I only have 1. I sold my 2 around 60s. I kept 1 because I have to play Drytrons. But 10 of the Pharaoh Gods, the new Megatins, we're calling it from now on. 2022 Megatins, what do you want to call it? Is roughly around $8 for this card. That's a really good price point. You sell 1 Diviner, there's your 3 Prismatic Secret Rare rarity upgraded versions. Not value upgraded, but rarity upgraded. And then we have Tactical Masters. Now, what's crazy is Runix is starting to show more higher value. Runix and Fountain were actually insanely low on the charts for a while. They were up around 40 to 50s, but now they're starting to go good in value. Now, my opinion is I don't think Runix are going to be that long lasting, though I still think they'll be around for a while. I think Runix are still going to be around for a decent while, up until we start seeing some new stuff come out in the future sets. With that said, Lovely Labyrinth is the waifu tax. You pay that tax, and it's worth it. She's thick. But looking at the rest of the cards, as far as like Tactical Masters, it's not bad. It's just I think there's some choices I do not recommend you look into, like CR Cosmic Cyclone, we have an ultimate rare, or CR Scapegoat, we have an ultimate rare. But this doesn't mean this set's a total wash. I think Tactical Masters is still a good set. I do think cards like Trapchick CR is a great buy. I won't recommend buying a play set, but definitely still a good buy. Anti-Spell, absolutely a house of a buy. Market price has at 75, one's at $65, so that's still a really, really good buy. And then we have Powder Elements, and I almost lost my mind, because I was saying how Powder Elements was going to be really important, because Ultimate Slayer will be more of a needed card than an optional card that what it is right now, which is realistically optional, and I think in the future it's going to be more needed. And someone said, V, they don't need to sell any more Powder Elements. It's selling so well. No. Here's my argument to why Powder Elements is not selling well, despite the fact that it's a phenomenal set, because it is. The singles market of Powder Elements is doing phenomenally. I think we can all agree on that. I mean, Pioneer Plan Paralino's doing great. Sprite Blue's a house of a card. The Starlight Rares, any one of these are Starlight Rares that everybody wants to have. Even also, the Earth Charmer is still a really good Starlight Rare to pull in this set. It just is. With that said, remember I just said that, with that said, nobody's really going and buying cases of Powder Elements sealed. Those that bought Powder Elements cracked it for the singles, and vendors that bought this for the singles probably have a ton of Primeval Plan Paralino, Sprite Blues, Ultimate Slayers, Rhino Hearts, Elves, Kurikiri Divine Incarnate, and so on and so forth. And the reason for that is, remember, Konami wants to sell sealed. They don't care about the secondary market unless it helps them as a company sell sealed. Now, once again, you're Konami, not the everyday average Yu-Gi-Oh player, but Konami. That's a very important distinction to make. How are you going to get players to buy sealed Power of the Elements? The vendors have a ton of it, and obviously, if you make some of these cards go up in value, that's not really going to impact you individually unless it means buying out cards. And not Konami buying out cards, but you, me, and the rest of the players buying out cards. So what I mean by that is, when was the last time you heard someone say, I bought a sealed case of Powder Elements? No. People would rather buy Primeval Plan Paralino, Sprite Blue, in play sets, and they can play whatever they want at that point. Telements of Sprite, they have the main card engines. Okay? So, if you want to sell Ultimate Slayers, and let's be honest with you, if Dark Ruin No More got hit, Ultimate Slayer would be the card that's going to get bought out. We know this already. Like, right or wrong, it's going to happen. So we know it's going to happen. Then, obviously, it would sell sealed Power of the Elements, or players will go out and clean. Players first are going to go out and clean the vendors, and they will clean Ultimate Slayer. Everyone right now is running Dark Ruin No More. It's a staple. Ultimate Slayer will be the second best option. It's $46. That will get cleaned out. And then what happens? The vendors are store owners, and then the players will then go and buy sealed Power of the Elements, further selling the sealed set. And who's gonna be who is gonna have it bought from? Konami. You can argue distributors, but who did they get it from? Once again, Konami. So I think that Dark Ruin No More is a hit. It's a good hit for the metagame in general, and we'll have another argument in another video. But it's good for the sealed. Once again, Powder Elements is not flying off the shelves. The vendors that have these cards are selling these cards individually. So that's why I thought that was a horrible argument, but I had to explain it in a long form for you guys, so we can all be on the same page. Because I don't think the person asking the question is making a bad question, but you're looking at it from a player perspective. You're looking at it from maybe even a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, casual Yu-Gi-Oh player perspective. But it's not the way to look at it. You have to look at it from the way Konami sees it. Konami needs to make money. It's not fair. It's not right. And I know you and I are not big fans of co-money or whatever you want to call it, but that's how the business works. So if they need to make money, how are they going to do it? Obviously, they can sell Megatins. Obviously, they could do this hit, which will definitely promote the sales of sealed Power of the Elements. And of course, they can make reprints in Legend of the Crystal Beast Structure Deck. Now, this is supposed to have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in here, right? A week or two later, after the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring gets released in the Megatins. Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Ash Blossom Joyous Spring already has a common printing. Why would they make another common printing of Ash Blossom Joyous Spring if they need Ash Blossom Joyous Spring to sell the Megatins? Now, not everyone's going to buy Crystal Beast Structure Deck, so I'm more interested in what's coming out in here. We know in the past where Konami was supposed to give us one card in a structure deck, they didn't, and they juked us and gave us another card. They did one of those and said, you know what, Draw and Lockbird, we'll give you something else. Rigeki, how about that? Really fun. You're excited. I know you are. So how is Konami gonna sell Legend of Crystal Beast? Not everyone's a Crystal Beast fan like I am, unfortunately. I think they might be putting some other cards in here. I don't think it's gonna be what we think it's gonna be, which is gonna be an Astral Story Spring reprint. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen here. They're putting it in here on purpose. Why would they 2 weeks later do it? I mean, they might. It's Konami. They're all over the place. They are all over the place. But I personally think that since they already have Ash coming out in the tens, they're gonna change the card ratio in here. And that's to be the case, it's gonna get really interesting. Paisanos, make sure to go to my website, YGOPaisano.com. I will announce the pre-sales for some of these things that are out of stock coming up in roughly around a week and a half. I'll have the pre-sale available for you guys. And then within 2 weeks, it'll be available for you guys. It'll be shipped out to everybody. If you guys want to get a Field Center right now, I highly recommend you buy them. Once again, it takes me about 2-3 weeks to even get the physical shipment of products. And I can only get a certain amount, roughly 200 pieces, 300 pieces, to ensure that everything ships within 2 weeks. So if you want to make sure you can get these, go ahead and go to my website. Once again, YGOPaisano.com. Absolutely gorgeous Field Centers. They all feel like CR-like, and as well as tokens that also feel CR-like. Absolutely gorgeous. And you want to go ahead and grab these, make sure to grab these right now. It's your boy V, and you Paisanos. You Paisanos have a great day.